Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Books Mandala YouTube channel, where we talk about anything and everything related to books. Today, we're going to talk about a popular book about success called Grit. Grit, by the famous psychologist Angela Duckworth, is a book about hard work. Well, not exactly. When it comes to hard work, it turns out that being hardworking is about much more than just putting in a lot of effort into everything. There are so many different aspects we can take when we talk about hard work, such as how you're able to enjoy what you're doing, how long you can do those things consistently, or how many times you can keep going after failing. This quality, your passion and your perseverance for things over a long time, is not just hard work at this point. In fact, the writer of this book calls this quality grit. Throughout all of our history, there's been a commonality between success and grit wherever you looked. For some reason, the most successful people tend to be the most gritty ones, people who doggedly chase their goals for a long time. While the research on success is still quite vague, you can almost certainly say that you must have grit to be successful. Now, is grit innate? Does it come from within? And how does this grit translate into success? Why grit matters and talent is a lie. There have always been, and there are always going to be some of us that can learn certain things more quicker, and some of us that can't. Some of us are, in the truest sense of the word, talented. And we love telling the story of talent, of Superman. We love calling successful people talented or geniuses. Love people who seem like they're gods among us. Even scientific studies have revealed subtle preferences for people who seem to be naturally gifted over hardworking people. But this is a huge problem because this story is wrong. The truth about being talented for most people is about opportunities, about upbringing, and about grit. Because the truth of the matter is only some people are born geniuses or with affinities for certain activities. And even then, people's talents will only take them so far. Actual skill and expertise, the ability to do certain things well, has to be learned properly regardless of how talented you are. And that in itself requires effort. And then even after you're good at what you do, you are going to need much more effort again to turn that skill you gained into achievements. Think about it. There are plenty of artists, scientists, leaders, entrepreneurs in the world of similar levels of skills. How many times do people look at someone and think, I can do that? But the thing is, the most successful people among them had to work even more harder to excel in their fields. As you see, effort factors into that equation of success 2 times. It's even more important than the talents you were born with. You need effort to get good at something, and then more effort to actually accomplish something with that skill. In fact, the most successful people in our history have always demonstrated and prized their persistence in their fields over all else. Most of them did the things they learned to be good at by doing it again and again. Even among the most clever people in our history, such as Isaac Newton, Martin Luther, Copernicus, the factor that distinguishes the most successful and the least successful, even among those smart people, was the degree of persistence in what they did. Because the truth is that most of everyone has an overabundance of potential in anything, but it only matters if you do something about it. Most of us tend to believe that our personalities and our skills are out of our control, just like the color of our eyes or our hair. Like a lot of physical traits, our psychological ones are also influenced by our genetics. Contrary to common belief, though, every human trait is influenced not just by genetics, but also by the human experience. Excellence, whether physical or mental, does not just come from the inside, but has to be trained and perfected through time from the outside. This can be seen in the Flynn effect. The Flynn effect is a curious social phenomena where there is an increasing rise of IQ scores over the past 100 years. Children are getting much more clever than they were a century ago. Collectively, as a species, we're getting better and better at abstract reasoning. Is this because of genetic evolution? No. Because of giant human developments, we have better education, access to better necessities, and more mental challenges. Our genes do not change quickly enough to explain the Flynn effect, proving that we are very capable of improving our abilities as we are right now within our lifetimes. Duckworth, in her numerous studies, found that there are mainly 4 factors that enhance and influence grit in a particular order. First, people grow interest and passion in their fields. Second, they nurture and grow that passion by practicing it. Third, most people begin to feel a sense of purpose that further enhances their interest in the field. And lastly, hope. Hope is needed in every stage of growing grit, from interest to practice to purpose, to ensure that one keeps going on even after failure. These 4 factors, interest, practice, purpose, hope, are not set in stone in any person. Anyone can discover the interest and develop it by creating the habit of discipline. Our sense of purpose and meaning can also be learned and cultivated. And lastly, anyone can teach themselves to hope. Interest is almost vital to being successful at anything. Numerous studies have shown that people are not only more satisfied with work that aligns with their interests, they tend to perform better. But finding your interest is very different than people know. Nobody, not even the most successful people, ever start out knowing that a certain activity is for them or not. They take years of exploration in different fields to finally realize that they love something. And even after that, there is the more important step of actually cultivating that interest. Because when it comes to passion, a lot of youth have unrealistic expectations that when they find something they enjoy doing, they'll immediately know, like a story. The truth of the matter is that this interest has to be developed through repeated interactions. Much like relationships with other people, one cannot truly know that they love doing something unless they get deeply into it again and again. Then over time, come to understand it and truly enjoy it. In fact, the sad thing is, a lot of people have the habit of throwing themselves into various projects and areas only to move on after a few months or years. But truly gritty people learn to find and appreciate new things in the areas they've chosen. Bruce Lee once said, "I fear not the man who has practiced 10,000 kicks once, but I fear the man who has practiced one kick 10,000 times." At first look, this statement doesn't seem helpful at all. How would repeating one action over and over again be a powerful thing at all? Let me explain. Researchers have found that there is a significant difference between the way that normal people and successful gritty people practice their craft. What they do is called deliberate practice. Deliberate practice is the act of analyzing, focusing on one small weak aspect of your current performance, then setting a goal and putting all your attention and effort into reaching it until you're good at it. And then you focus on another small weak aspect and do it again and again. A better interpretation of Bruce Lee's quote is that while most of us mindlessly practice that several kicks a lot, gritty people focus on analyzing and improving that one weak area of performance, even if it means practicing that one kick 10,000 times. And when they've perfected that one kick, they move on to learning a different aspect that they're weak at. And over time, little by little, they become the masters that we all strive to be. And finally, the most important quality that you must have for grit is hope. There are different kinds of hope. One kind is the one where you expect tomorrow to be a better day, when the sun might not be so hot and the people may be kinder. But grit needs a very different kind of hope. The kind of hope where you know that your effort can make things better. This is the kind of hope where you don't depend on the universe to win the lottery, but the kind where you know tomorrow will be a better day because you can and you will make it better. Gritty people have the kind of hope that turn mistakes into lessons and disasters into temporary setbacks. But hope isn't so easy for everyone. Some people are pessimistic at heart, and hope has to be learned. Most people have to change the way that they look at the world. And first and foremost, they need to realize and learn that intelligence and any other talent can be improved with effort. The brain is insanely plastic and changes a lot throughout a person's lifetime. Next, to cultivate hope, the person has to learn to practice optimistic self-talk. People can't just be talked into believing that they can accomplish great things. They need to learn to constantly remind themselves of their capabilities over and over again. While challenges are important to develop grit in a person, it has to come with the realization that they are capable of getting through it, which can only be learned when they are reminded of it again and again. Everyone fails all the time, but gritty people persevere because they use their hope to pick themselves up to fail again and again until they succeed. It is true that there are a lot of factors out of our hands that affect our lives, from our opportunities to our upbringing. However, it is also very true that more often than not, these factors are inside our head and can be overcome with the right tools. While a gritty person would not necessarily be successful and smart, you most certainly require grit to be those things. As Angela Duckworth says, if you define genius as being able to accomplish great things in life without effort, then you're right. I'm no genius, and neither are you. But if instead you define genius as working towards excellence ceaselessly with every element of your being, then in fact, I am a genius, and if you're willing, so are you. Thanks a lot for watching that video. There's a lot of the other things that we couldn't fit into this short video. If you want to read more about this, buy the book at Books Mandala. If you like the video, please subscribe to our channel for similar content. You can also follow us on Instagram and join the Discord server. Goodbye, and have a nice day.